We're waiting. There we are. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. I'm Dave Logan. You're not. With me is Randy, the genealogist Rhodes. All roads lead to home here on Facebook. It is Boogie with the Bull, the Friday free for all. That means you don't know what's going to happen today. We did invite a couple of special celebrity guests on Facebook. If they show up, they show up. The link is actually working today, so maybe things are going to be normal tomorrow by 3 p.m.
All the planets and stars are in alignment for you, Dave.
Well, maybe not. Maybe, like I had put on a few posts in the newsfeed, that if they're not going to take the restrictions away from me tomorrow around 3 o'clock like they're supposed to, my birthday is on Monday. Just give me a band for life. But anyway, nobody cares about that kind of stuff. We're live on the Dave Logan profile with the live chat. We're live on the Boogie with the Bull page with the live chat. We are live on YouTube, the Boogie with the Bull channel, the Boogie with the Bull Twitch channel, and at Boogie WT Bull, the Boogie with the Bull Twitter connection. And everybody that you watch may be telling you that they're either joining another live stream service or going to another social media network that has live streaming, and they may or may not be staying on Facebook. We're doing the exact opposite. We are trying to add destinations, so there'll always be one Facebook destination when a Boogie with the Bull broadcast is on. We'll still be on YouTube as long as they let us stay there. Haven't gotten any complaints from Twitch, haven't gotten any complaints from Twitter. So, and if you can't find a Boogie with the Bull broadcast somewhere for you to watch, then you let me know, and I will make sure that you get Boogie with the Bull broadcast. I did say the other day, think of Boogie with the Bull as the old PBS broadcasting station, and during Pledge Week, where we're begging you to make a donation so that we can continue doing Boogie with the Bull, you may, if you donate $599.99, because that's the Venmo amount that you don't have to pay income taxes on or gets reported to the IRS. If you make a donation of $599.99, we will send you the Boogie with the Bull box set for 2022. All of the episodes of Boogie with the Bull for 1 year, and they include the best of the bloopers editions, because there's always a blooper on Boogie with the Bull broadcast. But anyway, none of you want to hear anything about that. I am having fun with a tagline that I've been using the last couple of days. The shift is about to hit the fan. I also said Boogie with the Bull shift. I think Mr. Adam, the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, is going to be dragged before them, probably kicking and screaming. He is going to have to testify. He's going to try to get that his testimony can only be done in executive session, because there's too much information that America might not need to know about. I don't believe it. He needs to go in and testify. It needs to be televised everywhere, live, so that people can watch it and make their own decisions. And that's just the way it is. Nancy Pelosi is going to have to come in and testify. I have to hope that there's an EMT crew when Jerry No Nads Nadler, the former chair of the House Judiciary Committee, will have to come and testify before Jim Jordan, the new chair. And if, as I've been saying, if Jim Jordan, now the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, is the one guy who does in fact clean up all of this as a member of the Republican majority, if we are fortunate enough to elect a Republican president in 2024, I could see Mr. Jordan being tapped to be Attorney General. Yeah, I know Randy's laughing, but you know what? It's too bad all of this rambling at the beginning of a Boogie with the Bull broadcast doesn't attract advertisers who go, that Dave Logan so far.
I gave up on the Easter Bunny and Santa when I was a child.
I know, but there's got to be some people, there's got to be some businesses watching Facebook right now that are going, that Dave Logan guy is so far in Republican right field that we just got to pay to get advertising on Boogie with the Bull because everybody needs to see just how crazy this guy is. Good morning, Mr. Rhodes. Time for your opening testimony.
Well, I'll comment on a couple of things you're talking about, about the Venmo dollar amount. My bank, my local bank, if I make a deposit of over $200 outside of my normal, disability checks, they report that. They want to know where that $200 came from. So I try to keep my deposits, my cash deposits under $200. But having said that, I agree with most of what you say. I draw the line at ever seeing a Republican president again. The only way I would change that narrative is if in the 2 years that this Republican-controlled Congress is able to rein in the Democrats. I've been getting my information from different sources, and I just grab bits and pieces. I don't do a deep dive into the story because I get into these. Depending on who wrote the article, you can start seeing that they lean to the left, lean to the right when they start calling the Republicans names. But right now, Biden has 3 known locations where he had top secret documents. The narrative that I'm seeing on Twitter, on Rumble, on Instagram, to some degree Facebook, and also on Newsmax is that they believe that the Democrats are revealing this to get rid of them.
But the funny thing is, those SCIs have to be stamped, declassified or whatever the official stamp is, in order for him to have them. Otherwise, he went in, or his people went in, stole them, and set him up.
Yeah.
Because that's
the other thing.
Couldn't do it.
The ladies on the View are saying that Trump's people were trying to, entrap him. That they're the ones who put the papers there. Yeah, right. But and I liked Biden's response. I love Ducey, the reporter. Oh my God, he's my man to go for asking the news questions. But he asked Biden about the top secret documents that were found in his garage. Well, my Corvette is in a locked garage, and that's where those papers were found. So then someone finds these pictures of Biden in his driveway with his Corvette. The garage doors are wide open, and it managed to take a picture. And in the corner is all these boxes of papers, stacked up. And they say, yeah, sure, that garage is locked up. But and then they found some top secret documents inside his personal library of the home where the garage is, and it comes down to I find it funny where the Democrats look so hard to find something on President Trump to nail him, and they're doing the exact same thing, and it's finally starting to come out. Is he being set up to be removed from office by the Democrats? I don't know. I don't think it's Trump's people, because Trump's people want to keep their noses clean. And then, Speaker of the House, he said he's going to release 10,000 hours of the January 6th video that he feels the American public should see. So I would love to see that. Even more so, I'd love to see those January 6th people released, and the Democrats that put them there put in jail. So I guess my opening statement is Santa Claus still real? Is Easter Bunny still real? Do I still believe in miracles? My my belief in miracles is going to be seen at least one. I'll just take one high-level Democrat either going to jail or losing his job. I mean, do you know that Schiff and Solwell and another person got removed from their committees because of their stupidity? Um, in fact, um, uh, the Speaker of the House said that even that the FBI is the one who are supporting the Speaker of the House to go after Solwell and Schiff because they said of the things that they themselves found, but had to keep their mouths shut because of being a Democrat-controlled government. So now they're going to start helping bring all these things out. So I'm hopeful for see at least a couple of Democrats either lose their jobs or go to prison.
They'll bring it up, but it's like you say, Randy, they'll bring it up. But I mean, you got to go to the House Ethics Committee to prove that these guys violated ethics. They don't even have ethics. And then it's just going to get tied up. And then I think before you know it, it's going to be the 2024 presidential election with the midterms, and they're going to take the House back. Good morning, Mr. Rayfield, the distinguished host of the Patriots Labs on the Patriots Network, which is all over social media. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Saturdays at 12 noon from that new, beautiful studio at Rayfield Communications. That house is absolutely gorgeous. Congratulations on on being able to get a home worthy of your family.
Can you gentlemen hear me okay?
I can hear you fantastic. Can you hear the rest of us?
Yeah, trying these new Bluetooth headsets out. I be watching these anchors wear them on TV and stuff. I said, I'm going to try that instead of the microphone thing.
I've had terrible luck with headphones, and I'm having fantastic luck with my my Blue Snowball, only because my Christmas gift this year was the arm that holds it out of view. And,
but Randy
got that beautiful desk blue microphone.
Just to interject real quick, Randy, you are 100% correct, sir. They are done with Biden. They needed somebody to blame all of this on at the end of the day. And Biden is going to be the go guy to take the downfall for all of this. But we all know that he's just a figurehead of what's been going on. See, they really believe that the American people are stupid.
But what happens when, I'm sorry I cut you off, but everybody knows I do. But what happens when Speaker McCarthy bends the Democrats over and says, not only, Joe, are you being impeached because of everything you did illegal, you're being impeached because you weren't elected. You didn't win the 2020 election. And YouTube, if you need to, bang me for 30 years. I don't care. I'm tired of being afraid.
Well, we gotta sit back and see what the Republicans are gonna do.
Yep.
Every day after day, incriminating evidence is coming out on this administration. So either the Republicans are sitting back with the master plan to blow all of this up, or guess what? It's going to go unpunished. It's going to just be swept under the rug, and they're going to let this old decrepit man go off into the sunset. And this will be just another devastating chapter in the history of the United States of America.
Do you think, Ray,
did your screen just go black, guys?
I said it to Randy in a chat.
My screen just went black.
No, we're still here. We're still here. We're still live. But I said to Randy yesterday that in a chat that maybe the Democrats used Trump as a practice for what they were going to have to do with Biden. So they staged whatever you want to call it, a raid at Mar-a-Lago, and went in and claimed that they found all kinds of top secret documents that he wasn't supposed to.
No,
So that
no,
then
it didn't happen that way.
I know, but so that when it was time to go after Biden, they could at least appear to be doing the proper thing for having to nail a president of the United States.
If any of you've been following me for a number of years, it goes right back to the playbook. The Democrats are too dumb to come up with their own ideas.
Yep.
So everything they've been doing, they've reversed it and said that Trump has been doing it. These are their own ideas. These are their own things they're doing. And then they're reversing it, saying that Trump is doing it. See, they're not coming up with anything original. Everything they say Trump is doing, it's because it's what's in their head, what they're doing. So when it came and they raided Mar-a-Lago, it wasn't something that they imagined. It was literally because he was doing this. Biden was putting away records at the same time that he was wanting to investigate Trump, saying Trump was doing exactly what Biden was doing. So they just said, wait, everything we're doing, let's just flip it back on Trump. It ain't like they came up with this idea. No, they said everything we're doing, we're going to flip it on Trump.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That they just flipped it on Trump and used it as a rehearsal of what they were going to do, or knew they would have to at some point do with Mr. Biden.
But they said that those documents were in those 3 locations, possibly more, from when he was vice president. So they claim that, so if I understand what you're saying, Ray, you're saying that he's just now hiding these documents because of whatever.
No, he's been had these documents, right. And what the American people, what the American people have to understand is, see, Trump was in litigation with his documents, so there was correspondence. Biden took these documents years ago and said, "Yo, y'all will never see these," and then they want to act like, "Oh, we just turned them over," because we found them.
Right, and it's worse than that. They found them at the University of Pennsylvania, which, according to what I've read in the media, is heavily funded by the CCP.
$50 million, Dave. $50 million.
No, I heard worse. I heard that they give the UO of PA something like $300 million a year, and then on top of that, they fund the Biden Center with something like $30 million a year. And the minute I heard, well, CCP funds the university as a major benefactor, they fund the Biden Center as probably the largest benefactor. Is Joe Biden that stupid that he stays away from the Biden Center as often as he can, but knows that those documents are there? And if the CCP is the landlord and they're coming in there left and right, is it, now that we've discovered that those documents are there, is it too late? And should Biden be caught up on the same espionage charges that eventually all of them did?
I just can't believe our government. I just can't believe our government allowed a communist nation, an enemy of our country, to donate any money that involves the president of the United States or a vice president.
Well, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be, this goes back to the root, and I hate to use root cause, but this is the real. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. We have a society and a government. I don't like to say we're living under authoritarian rule, but we are.
We are.
We're just stronger. We have more that we can fight back with than other countries do. and we've experienced freedom too long to not fight to keep it. So if you think we're not under authoritarian regime, you have been mistaken.
Yep.
It's a sad day in America that we live in today, when our own government has chosen to sell out the United States of America over its people. And that's the actual and factual. I don't get into the big lawyer terminology
Right.
of this and that. The man was caught with above top secret, SCI level information in 3 separate instances. That's high crime misdemeanors and treason. And when
Right.
a president,
So far, only
isn't
3.
when he isn't instantaneously
But it only takes
locked up,
Only takes
that
one,
lets
from what I
you know.
understand.
Yeah, it only takes one.
right.
It only 3 is an insult. Three lets the world know what's really going on.
Right. But, everybody, if Joe Biden is not in this and capable of doing this himself, is this where, there had to be help from some big ass Democrats? Hillary Clinton had to be involved in this. Barack Obama had to be involved in this.
Dave, I know you know who the deep state is, bro.
Yeah.
The deep state's been at work for over 72 years, bro.
Right.
See, this is what I did years ago while they kept shutting me down, because I was into the deep state shit.
Right.
And it's not just here in America. This thing has tentacles that are global.
Right.
So we are far from being out of the woods in this.
There were some reports that there were some Ukrainian SCIs in there that go back to when Biden, as vice president, tried to get the attorney general of Ukraine removed.
You don't need the reports. You got the video. He
right.
said, well,
I don't think when all this is said and done, really, that Hunter Biden is going to be as big a player in all of this, other than maybe the man who laundered the money the Biden family got.
My thing is,
I think Joe hung himself.
Just find the person with the key to the storage room. That's all. Find the person with the key to the. You don't have to do all this running around. Who has the key to the closet? Yeah. There's only maybe 4 people who have the key to the closet.
But even worse than that, it goes back to, Trump said my stuff was locked up in a closet or an office at Mar-a-Lago, my home, with Secret Service protection on that room around the clock, 24/7. Bill Clinton's crap was found in his sock drawer. George Bush Sr. stuff was found in an abandoned furniture store that no one used anymore, with no security on it. Same thing with Barack Obama. Their stuff was found in an abandoned furniture store and if the security was that it was an abandoned furniture store that nobody would go into.
The key thing you want to always point out about this, Dave, is Trump was in correspondence with the National Archives. There was no reason for them to even go there. He was already initiating contact. Right. Joe Biden had these. It was 2-3 years past. So he was like, yo, if y'all don't know what y'all don't know, y'all never know. Right. And he got busted.
Yep.
I still
there's a big difference.
Anyway, I just want to take a second. Danny Campbell, who's watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcast than anybody else, is watching. Good morning, Danny. Wyatt Fitzwater, who watches all the time, is watching. William Rayfield is watching. You see him on your screen, the host of the Patriots Labs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and at 10 a.m. Eastern, Saturdays at 12 noon Eastern. Cindy Rudolph is watching the Boogie with the Bull broadcast. On Facebook, you can see it on my profile and be in the live chat, or you can see it on the Boogie with the Bull page and be in the live chat on YouTube. It's the Boogie with the Bull channel on Twitch. It's the Boogie with the Bull channel, and it's at Boogie WT Bull on Twitter. And more destinations are arriving every single day. If we aren't where you would like us to be, and you're watching where you have to, please let us know, and we will do our best to facilitate everybody's desire for the truth whenever we can get it out. Mr. Rayfield, I think I cut you off, but testimony.
I've always told people since this thing started that Biden wasn't our president. He was just a figurehead. And this is just proof, because there's no way you can go from never letting anything about this man be heard or exposed to the next day everything this man does, says, or breathes is out there in the airwaves. They're done with his services. His services are no longer rendered. And now when the shit hits the fan, they can blame everything on him. But we have to remember, like I've told people, patriots, for years, he's just the figurehead of the deep state, because if he was really in control, he would really be untouchable. But guess what? These days, he's very much touchable. So he's not in control. They have green lighted him. They have sent the dogs and the wolves out to get Joe Biden, and he is no longer under the protection of the deep state and the Democratic Party. He is fair game. And it's a shame how they done this man, because like I've told people for years, I was at a point where I used to hate him. Then I got to a point where I felt sorry for him, because it was elder abuse.
But
and his wife, Jill Biden, should be held to the highest accountable for senior citizen abuse.
What about Kamala Harris, the vice president?
No, she has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. Is just
no. I'm not saying that she had anything to do with the SCI documents, but should she face elder abuse charges? That lady knows.
No, because Kamala's not even Kamala's not even in the picture. They just needed a name that was black to put after VP. So you notice she ain't did shit. So they just needed a name, and they had to make sure it went with a black face. They was like, yo, you ain't got to do no work. We just got to make sure that we, stay politically correct and get this black woman in here, and then you could take a vacation. And then they said, Pete Buttigieg, you do the same thing. We're going to put you behind this title. We're going to put your name behind the title. You really ain't got to do nothing. Go on vacation, and we'll call you when we need you.
Well,
all these people were players in a movie.
They know that they were going to need Mayor Pete. I mean, I think they got plans to run Mayor Pete for president.
No, they're running that boy in California, I believe. They're going to try to run that boy in California.
Gavin Newsom.
He's got more support behind him that people don't even know who Buttigieg is.
Well, they don't know who he is, but they know.
They did. He was married to a guy, and they just adopted a baby, and they were showing him
twins. Twins.
Bro, he was on maternity leave for 4 months.
Yeah, they adopted twins, I believe, a boy and a girl.
The day I'm sorry, and I'll probably get banned for life, but the day that we put a person into the White House as president of the United States that is openly gay, married to a man, or even that, like the people. What is it with the Democrats? They seem that they have to hire all the 3%ers. I mean, you have those people who are born male, they're dressed in females, they're stealing people's luggages.
That backfired in their favor.
It's all about appeasing to society and just letting everybody just.
But you're only appeasing the 3% of our population. I can see if 75% of our population and 55% of our population lean that way.
But Randy,
they did a study of Generation X, which is this new generation. Only 16% are proud to call themselves Americans, where
Yeah.
the age of 55 and up, 85% are still proud to call it. So you look
That
at
is
you look
because
why they're appeasing to these people, because they see it working a little bit.
that that percentage of people who hate Americans are in the age bracket where the left wing liberal Democrat Socialist Party has gone after the children in elementary all the way up to college, and they brainwashed them to hate our nation. But if they hate us so much, why do they take advantage of all the stuff that we have to offer? So
Because they're
that's what
spoiled. Because they're spoiled brats. They're spoiled brats. That's it. It's like these little kids who hate their parents, but as long as their parents buy them cars and the iPads and everything, and as soon as they don't get what they want, little Timmy's ready to burn the house down.
and I've seen those videos.
So it's I don't know.
Yep. Well, I got an iPad that little Timmy can have for Christmas, but it has 3G mobile data, so little Timmy won't like it.
Hey, but how about my Seahawks? We going to the Super
Seahawks.
Bowl. I said it. We're gonna beat the hell out of San Francisco tomorrow.
You're talking about you're talking about what used to be my boys.
Hey, we got something for San Francisco and that rookie quarterback. Yeah, #1 defense in the league. We got something for you tomorrow.
Where we grew up in California, one of the neighborhood gang, her father was a scout for the San Francisco 49ers. So that worked because we were all 49er. We're all 49er proud back then.
Hey, Randy, you think it was a coincidence that they found the third batch next to the Corvette? Biden was ready to leave, wasn't he? Biden was ready to hit the highway.
Yeah, and I bet you right. I bet you right now there are several more presidents thinking to themselves, "Damn, do I have stuff in my possession I shouldn't have?" Because now they should just keep on going back and looking at the other president, vice president, see what they have in their boxes, in their closets or garages.
The United Spot, the parody video.
Hang on, Dave. I wanted to ask this question 30 minutes ago. Okay, so let's just say America happens and Biden is out of the office. That means Kamala is president, okay? Where does the vice president come from?
It'll be they'll move up Mayor Pete, Secretary Pete.
No, Speaker of the House is third in line.
Well, he's third in line.
No matter what party.
Right. But right now, until it is proven that Joe Biden was not elected president, Kamala Harris will move up if Joe Biden is removed, because that's how it goes. You have to prove that Joe Biden wasn't elected president in November of 2020.
No, we don't.
Right,
we
but
got
then
high
look at
crimes
it.
and misdemeanors.
Okay, so then you remove him. But you have to prove that he wasn't elected president, or else Harris moves up, because the vice president of the United States is not an elected position.
Dave, we don't have to keep proving that he wasn't elected president. Only thing we have to do is indict him and impeach him for high crimes and misdemeanors, and he will be removed. So there are different categories.
Right, but
you have a better chance with the treason information, with the classified information, than trying to prove an election.
And if you do that, then the vice president, regardless of who she is and or what party she was there, moves up.
That's right.
You have to prove, in order to remove her, you have to prove that the high crimes, misdemeanors, and treason include the fact that Joe Biden wasn't actually elected president. Because if he wasn't actually elected president, then Kamala Harris could not have been appointed vice president by Joseph R. Biden Jr., Vice president is an appointed position, not an elected position. That should immediately change in this country too. If you elect William Rayfield president, then you have elected Randy Rhodes his vice president.
So what you're saying, she was illegally put into that position.
Well, yes, because if you can prove that Joe Biden was not elected president and that Donald Trump won the election, and yes, YouTube, you can go ahead and can this one for me saying that, but if you can prove that Joe Biden lost the 2020 presidential election, Donald Trump won the 2020 election, then Donald Trump and his vice president.
Okay, and I hear you, but the only thing I'm trying to say is they're never going to go down that rabbit hole. Right. So what we have to focus, being that you know that, what we have to focus on, being that they're never going to focus on if the election was stolen, what we have to focus on is the documents that were found and moving him, because no matter what you say, Kamala Harris will be, if they take him out, she will become the president
of the United States.
The only way they can get her out
2024 election.
No.
Or start impeachment proceedings.
Dereliction of duty. She has never done any task that she was authorized to do by her boss or authorized to do by her constitutional job description. Right. So they got her for dereliction of duty.
Right. But what will happen with that is the Republican House will impeach her, send it to the Democrat Senate, who's not going to do anything to removes her up until the 2024 election, where she would run as the Democrat incumbent against Donald Trump. And if you think she's going to be elected president in 2024, you must be living in a cave where you don't know what's going on.
Now, they can get her for aiding and abetting, and they can get her for what if she knows something, what do you call that?
Guilty by association?
Yeah.
Guilt by association. But, there's no way she can say she didn't.
They could throw elder abuse on her
because same with his wife.
There can't be any.
They can't put elder abuse on her because that's not her responsibility. That lies within Jill. That's Jill's responsibility.
Right. But you could also name the whole cabinet, because the whole cabinet, not the vice president, invokes the 25th Amendment, where the whole cabinet could say, we don't believe he's mentally capable of being president. And obviously right now, that's what should have happened. Ultimately, that's what should have happened. So again, you could go after all the cabinet secretaries as well as the vice president for saying, obviously, he's not mentally capable of being the president.
You know, there's this gentleman. He did a 10-minute clip on all the lies that Joe Biden has said since he's been in the government. Yeah. And it's like over 62, from where he went to school, how high he graduated in his class, to everything. And it's just amazing. He's a liar. He's an habitual liar. And it is just fascinating to me that he's gotten away with this for so many and been called out on it. He's got Mexican in his family. He's got this. He's been to this school. He's done that. And they all come back to find out it was lies. And he's been getting away with it since he was a little pup in Congress. And it's a shame. But they picked their boy. They've been grooming him for a while. They did. It was time for him to play his part.
He's not the only one lying. The Democrats, they lie, they steal, they cheat, and they get away with it. And they've gotten away with it for so many decades, okay, that they've honed the art of how to do it,
Yeah.
and the Republicans just don't have the backbone or the balls or whatever you want to call it to stand up to them and hold them to the fire for it.
They
And the
don't.
American people, you know, 50 some percent maybe are brainwashed by what they see, or at least hope what they see, or they're just so damn happy for all the free stuff they get that the Democrats give them that they want them in office because they know damn well the Republicans are going to take it away and say, you work for your benefits like the rest of the nation does.
Right. Right. I mean, that's where I see this coming. I see, like Randy said, not only did they tell us what they were going to do, when they were going to do it, how they were going to do it, who was going to do it, they did it in front of us while they bent us over and didn't even offer Vaseline.
Well, see, this is what we have to understand about the Democrats. The Democrats, they were brought up playing the game with gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, New York, they had to learn how to play dirty.
Yeah.
When they came up against Al Capone and they came up against, they learned the ways of the gangsters, and they have implemented those ways into our government.
Yeah.
And the Republicans don't know how to play gangster ball.
Yeah, and Chicago did it over the last couple of days. They took I don't know if it was an automatic or a semi-automatic or both. If it can hold more than 10 rounds, they took it away from you. It is now a crime to own that one. I have to look it up again. I don't remember if it was just an automatic or a semi-automatic. But if it holds,
well, let's see how many kids get shot this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Being that they passed a law, let's see how well that works.
Yep.
They don't,
You talked to Miller Lightfoot. You talked to Miller Lightfoot on Monday, and you see how many people. You see her report of how many people died over the weekend. I'm sorry, Randy.
I hear you, Randy.
But please don't be offended by what I say. But the people in charge of Chicago don't seem to give a rat's ass about how many people are killed over the weekend or over a specific holiday because they're all black. It's in the black community. We don't care. I mean, we're talking dozens upon dozens of young, innocent, children getting killed on the sidewalk, or bullets going through houses, and they're getting killed inside their own houses. They don't care because it's in the black community, and
It's in Chicago.
This is the issue.
If that was a white community, you can be damn well that there'd be hundreds of police officers combing that white neighborhood trying to find the bad guys.
Mayor Lightfoot, the first thing she did was defund the Chicago Police Department so that there wouldn't be a police department there to deal with this.
But you have to understand one thing. There's multiple things at play in these type of environments when it comes to killings that I'm not promoting or anything, but unfortunately in these environments it's like living in the wild, wild west. It's every man out for themselves. Nobody wants to get involved. Somebody can see something happen, but they're afraid for their lives. And the most important factor is when you have these black politicians that I believe have been paid off heavily by the government to sit idly by and watch these things happen. Because my reasoning and my rational thinking for this is, how can people like Lori Lightfoot or an Al Sharpton or a Jesse Jackson or any prominent black leader, how can they sit by and not be on the airwaves 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, with the way these black kids are killing each other? They are paid to stay silent. The only time Al Sharpton comes out is when it's time to have a race war and when it's time to just create chaos amongst different nationalities. I said it, and y'all
Yeah.
know I keep it actual and factual.
He's very careful in what he says because he owes taxes and he doesn't want the IRS to shut
That's
him
right.
down.
That's
Although
right.
they won't
So,
because it's a Democrat
so
IRS right now.
when you are under the thumb of the government, believe me, it's like anything. You think they don't have dirt on people, but they just pick and choose when to use it. That's one thing about letting people have dirt on you. They then can hold power over you and get you to do things that you wouldn't normally necessarily do. Because once again, like I said, I cannot see for the life of me how these high profile black politicians can just idly stand by and watch our youth kill one another. We have all the power in the sports industry. We have all the power in entertainment. We have all the power when it comes to pleasing people on a social level. But when is the power being used to save lives? Y'all don't hear me.
Well, look, the Republican Congress
We
passed a
went into a
bill.
quick second of buffering, but that'll be edited out by StreamYard before they post it out. Go ahead, Randy.
The Republicans passed a bill. I don't know if it's going to get signed into law to where it becomes effective, but concerning the aborted children who survived the abortion being rushed to a hospital to get medical treatment to save their lives. So the Republicans voted yes. We want this. We want this. Every Democrat said no to it. So that just tells you right there how the Democrats look at the value or the importance of life. If they can agree that, okay, we had an abortion, the baby survived it, but this is a die, that's murder, times two. That just tells you the Democrats don't care about life or the sacredity of it.
Hey,
That is
I'm just taking y'all out to this is my new location, country living. This is what I call country living. We'll go outside. Hey, y'all, one day I'm gonna do a show because I live in this beautiful. This is historic Jonesboro. This is the oldest town in the state of Tennessee, the oldest town. So, about every 45 minutes, what me and my wife have to get used to now, and I can actually walk you outside, and I am fortunate enough to live next to the railroad. Y'all see the railroad
Oh
tracks?
God, yes, I did. Ray, for 3 freaking years. I rented this house,
And that's
and the landlord said,
that's
"Just
my
so you
yellow
know."
house.
There you go. That stands out. Everyone knows where he lives now.
And
So the
and
landlord
the
said, "Randy,
walls
just so
shake.
you know." The landlord said, "Randy, just so you know, there's railroad tracks behind the house, but there shouldn't be a problem for you." I want to tell you what. Every half hour, 45 minutes, a train went down that track, and because there was a crossroad there, he had to blow his damn horn. So I heard this damn horn blowing for 5 minutes before he got to that crossway, to 5 minutes after the fact. And I put up with it for 3 years. I finally said that was enough. I couldn't take it.
And if you can look up to the next street, that is Main Street. That is the town of Jonesboro. Right up the street.
the
And these
town
are the tracks.
of Owensboro.
And the trains come. And see,
And I wouldn't
city
mind
folk,
living in that area.
this is beautiful. It is so peaceful. It is so quiet. I tell you, I'll take this living over the big city any
Oh yeah.
day.
We're gonna have to get a Boogie with the Bull rail car and hit the.
I'm hoping Trump
rail
comes
tour.
through. I'm
Yep.
hoping Trump come through.
Yep, that would be actually cool. That would be very cool.
And if you look off in the distance there, you see a little white church.
Yep.
That's the church I went to when I was in high school. It belongs to somebody else now.
Very, very, very cool. Very.
But this is the town my family lives in.
That I think when people can these days, they're actually returning to that living. And
you almost have to, because you almost have to live a more basic life. I mean, a freaking dozen eggs is $10, right? I can go out and buy a chicken for less than $10 and get my own damn eggs. But trying to convince my wife we're gonna raise some chickens. But $10 for a dozen eggs, where just a few weeks ago it was $1.59. What in the hell is driving price of chicken eggs up so high?
the fact that the Democrats don't want you to buy eggs from your neighbor. They want you to buy eggs from ConAgra and or Bill Gates or the CCP and all the farms that they own in America.
Well, I don't buy eggs. My neighbor just gives me eggs.
Right.
If I want them.
Right.
But I can't get used to the texture. So I'll continue to pay my $6 or $9 because I like the eggs I like.
Yep. Oh, I wish we could go back to the good old days. Well, people call it the good old days. I wish we could just go back to barter. Forget about the IRS and just go back to barter. I had, like I said before, I had a zine business, a car. I actually, one of the cars I owned, I backed up and hit something in our own parking lot, dented up the rear bumper, sent it down to a guy who owned a body shop. He spent 8 hours.
So this is my thing, Dave. How long can it go on that they just keep coming out with all of this illegal stuff on Joe Biden without him being impeached? I think the Democrats want him to be impeached, because there's no way that they're going to keep allowing treasonous stuff to happen and to be coming out for the next 2 years. I think they're ready to just give him to the dogs. I don't think they're trying
100% correct, but the actual and factual is that it's a two-step impeachment process. The Republican
but if you ain't got your own team on your side,
yeah,
you could forget it. So it's
he'll get impeached. He'll get the same kind of Republican majority impeachment in the House of Representatives, because we don't need the Democrats to vote. We can just impeach him.
You know what's going to happen?
When it gets to the Senate, they're not going to impeach.
No, that's what's going to blow everybody's mind, because the House is going to impeach him unanimously, and then it's going to get to the Senate, and you're going to see Democrats say aye. And people's mouth.
But then we wind up with Kamala Harris, who can't even speak a paragraph of clarity.
But you know what, Randy? I think if that happens, Kamala Harris is going to say, if I don't sit in the Oval Office and do what the House and the Senate representing the people tell me to do, my political career is over. And you don't, and this is going to sound racist, and I don't mean it to be,
Kamala ain't coming back.
You don't become the first black female.
She's not black.
Okay, well, whatever she is. You don't become.
She's Indian.
Okay, you don't become the first. You don't become the first Indian. You don't become the first Indian American female to sit in the vice president's office without knowing one day you're moving into the president's office. And when you get there, hopefully she will get the warning from the Democrat puppet string pullers that say, if you want to stay here, you're going to have to play ball the way we tell you, and or how Congress doesn't vote you out tomorrow.
No, see, God has given me this gift. I don't know why he's given it to me, but I've been spot on for the past 5 years since my man came down the escalator. Kamala, see, Joe is the fall guy. Because if you notice, he's trying to already move back towards the center.
Yep.
Kamala is the one to bring it back home and try to bring the black people with her so the Democrats can try to retain power. See, that's the power move right there. We're going to hold Kamala. Once we're done with Joe and blame everything on him for the destruction of this country, then we'll bring the black queen in, Kamala Harris, and see if she can bring her peoples along with her. And we can get, because we need that vote back. We need that vote. We need that vote. I'm telling you.
I don't think, even if the Republicans were to not rally behind Donald Trump and were to bring in Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, or even go over to Disneyland and convert Mickey Mouse, I don't think, regardless of who the Republicans run, the Democrats' chance to have a snowball in hell chance of winning this presidential election in 2024. Only because, like Randy and a lot of people say, we're watching all of this stuff unfold, but we're not doing a damn thing about it. And the way politics is played, if we impeach and remove Joe Biden, the Democrats will most likely rally in 2024 and assume that they will be able to defeat whoever the Republicans run, because we will be the bad guy. We impeach Joe. We impeach feeble-minded Joe Biden, who should never have been elected president anyway. That's where I am. I mean, I go back to the only reason they ran Joe Biden was that Kamala Harris wasn't ready to be president. She wasn't a first-term Barack Obama and ready to be elected. Or I wish I could find a female that I could equate it to on the Democrat side, but she was not ready to be president. And the other thing I don't understand is Harris didn't get the Democrat nomination in 2020 because you go back to debates.
Kamala,
a strong black president.
Kamala, listen. What did you just answered your own question. The lady is not qualified. She is there to say, she's there to serve a purpose. And qualifications have nothing to do with the purpose that she is there to serve. Joe Biden was put in place so they can have somebody to blame at the end of the day with all of this. And then she's supposed to be the black savior to bring the black people back to the Democratic Party with her after we see what they've done in destroying this country. Because everything that the Democrats do is psychological. See, the one thing about Americans that we are bad for, we have short-term memory. And they are banking on that. Oh, Kamala's running for president. Kamala's running for president. Oh, well, B, you couldn't get the vote for vice president. What makes you think you're going to get the vote for president? she's not there for that. She's not. She was never put there for that.
But I think the actual factual on the Republican side is like I just said. It may not be Donald Trump. It might not be Ron DeSantis. It might be some other up and newcomer that they at least get in there for 4 years with
who?
I don't know who it is. I mean, they're gonna.
Do you notice? Ever since Mike McCarthy has got the speaker position, and even a little bit before, do you notice how they came out and talked to Santos for maybe a week, 2 weeks? It was never. See, the Democrats are so smart. DeSantis was never in the picture. The only thing the Democrats had to do was just throw that damn seed out there, and people like yourself and others, because I'm not going to single you out, and others,
No,
they
you can single me out.
they ate the seed. They ate the damn DeSantis seed. DeSantis was never in the picture. But the Democrats said, you know what? Let's throw this DeSantis seed out there and see how they react. I've told people since day one, Mike McCarthy has had 11 visits to Mar-a-Lago, the only one, for a reason. When people told me, Ray, it's round 7, he's not going to be speaker. Ray, it's round 9, he's not going to be speaker. He took it round 15 like an old heavyweight fight, and he knocked him out. There is an agenda and a plan in place that God has ordained. And I'm telling you, that's why they tried so hard for McCarthy not to be speaker, but that wasn't God's plan.
God's plan.
Let me ask people this:
the God's plan is to make
if 11 of McCarthy's visits,
okay,
if 11 of McCarthy's visits wasn't about the transition, what was it about?
What else they got to talk about? Well, I disagree that God's plan was to make Eric McCarthy acting president of the United States.
No. It's not about McCarthy. He's just included in the plan.
McCarthy is the man who, once he becomes acting president, a whole chain goes into effect, which is that's when the Republicans will come out with rock and show everybody 100% clear proof, which Mike Lindell and a whole bunch of other people have tried to convince America is what actually happened. And as acting president, he will simply say, here's what happened according to me. And I'm the acting president, so you have to listen to me because I'm going to tell you. Biden wasn't elected. It doesn't matter whether or not Biden was elected or not. He committed crimes. He was removed. Harris goes, now, I became president. Now,
who became president?
McCarthy. I became acting president. My plan.
See, I got once again. I got to reel you back. Once again, I got to reel you back in, Dave. Once again, I got to reel you back.
Okay.
McCarthy's not going to be president. McCarthy's not going to be president. See, when you are the Speaker of the House, and after you serve 6 months as Speaker of the House, you have done your job. You can then relinquish your speakership. And that's exactly what's going to happen. I've told people since day one, Donald J. Trump will be Speaker of the House. He will be the third in line. He will be the first president to ever do more than 8 years.
Okay. It didn't happen because
McCarthy has to do 6 months. The Speaker of the House has to do 6 months before
If the rules package passed, in the rules package, it was changed from 5 people, no, from 1 representative can move to remove McCarthy as Speaker. Now I believe it's 5. if 5 of them stand up and say, we want McCarthy removed as speaker, then that immediately calls a vote at any time. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump ever walking into the House and becoming speaker. Because, no, listen and hear me out, Matt Gaetz nominated Trump. If Trump was serious about it, he would have said, okay, I'll take the nomination. He would have walked in on the first ballot. He would have got it.
Dave. Dave, you're putting the cart in front of the horse, bruh. Trump didn't want. The one good thing you pointed out is, yes, in 6 months, there will be 5 people possibly that votes McCarthy out, if that's how it has to go down, or he'll just step down. But one good thing you pointed out, Matt Gaetz already put Trump up for Speaker of the House. So obviously that's one vote that Trump already has in his corner. So it'll make it easier for him for the transition. I'm not saying he's just going to walk in and take over. No, it's going to be relinquished.
Trump has a better chance of staying out of the House, campaigning like he has campaigned on his record as president, and proving how the House violated him in the 117th House, broke all kinds of laws.
You don't think there's no better way to do that than becoming Speaker of the House?
He doesn't need to become Speaker of the House, because
with Speaker of the House,
Speaker of the House becomes acting president. He's going to be charged with replacing, with getting another president in. How he's going to do it, how McCarthy's going to do it, is he's going to say, America, this is the proof the Democrats cheated. They didn't win the election. Because they didn't win the election, the last president of the United States continues on as the president.
I see where you're at, because you're talking about it all day. You're still stuck on them proving that election for shit, and they're never gonna do that. But obviously,
personally, I
personally
think
you
the
keep saying it, so that's
president
what
of the United States.
I mean,
personally, I think
that's what you.
Personally, I think the office of the president of the United States should be terminated, ended, done. The Speaker of the House has more authority than the President of the United States because they run the House. The House is where all the laws originate, get voted on, go over to the sister house, the Senate, get voted, and go upstairs to the President. If the President signs it into law, boom, that's checks and balances, everything happened, something happened. If the president vetoes it,
let me ask you a question. Dave, let me ask you a question. Dave, let me ask you a question. If Mike McCarthy, just so we can appease you. So if Mike McCarthy says, okay, we have all this information that the election was rigged, and he does this in the House, and then it gets to the Senate, you think the Senate is going to impeach them or Biden on any of those crimes, knowing that they were involved in it?
I honestly, I don't honestly.
Come on, man. Come on. Because they're throwing their, they got to admit.
But
they got to admit that if the Senate's going to impeach Biden after the House, we already know the House has control, so it's no problem for them to do it. But if the Senate does it, that means you have people like Swalwell that's ready to say, okay, I was involved in this. You got so you're going to have all these Democrats to impeach him in the Senate that's going to have to turn themselves in.
Well,
because they were accessories.
I personally think what you're going to see
you don't think you're not Dave, you have to think about everything. In order for him to get impeached on an election that wasn't really won, that means people in the Senate have to say they committed crimes to help this happen, and that's not going to happen, Dave. So we have to get off of that of the president's. Me, one that hated it, have finally come to terms that, you know what, we're not going to win on this battlefield of whether the election was stolen or not, because too many people have to turn themselves in. Republicans.
Too many people have to be indicted in the House and in the Senate.
Takes too long. Takes too long.
It isn't going to. As you have to remove Biden, then you have to remove Harris, and then McCarthy has to become acting president before anything can happen the way you're saying it. And that's going to take as much time, all the time left before the 20.
No. See. Obviously, you didn't hear the way I said it. The way I said it is Trump is going to come in and become Speaker of the House. That has nothing to do with McCarthy becoming president.
It's never going to happen.
Okay. All right.
It's never going to happen. Just like people in the know here in Florida, right, in the district where Mar-a-Lago is located, said there is no way the Republicans in that district would elect Trump as their representative. The Republicans, the people that he needs to vote for him, just won't do it. They just won't vote for him. To get him in as a rep, to get him so that he could be nominated as a rep. The other side of it is, I don't think the majority of the House, Republicans and Democrats, are going to vote for him, even as an outsider who can be Speaker, because everybody's going to see it as that's the way he thinks he's going to get back in. Because he's going to become Speaker. Then as Speaker, he moves up to acting president. He becomes president because he as Speaker can make the decision that he is going to become president. Personally, like I said, where I am is I think the office of President of the United States now, based on everything that the Democrats tried to get Trump convicted of, so that impeachments would go through both the House and the Senate, and he would step down. It's just not going to happen. By the time all of this is done, whether or not you get Eric McCarthy as Speaker to step down, you get the House to elect Donald Trump, who's not a representative, but that's okay because an outsider can be elected. Even if you got him in, all that happens then is he moves up as acting president. He can't say, now that I'm acting president, I'm going to be the president. Because everybody's going to see that as the only reason he got himself elected Speaker of the House was so that he could get himself back in as president. Based on all of this,
what do you mean? See, you make it sound like Donald Trump is going to become Speaker, and his motive is becoming Speaker so he can become president.
That's the only way he's gonna. No,
you're taking the wrong angle on it. It's not the fact that Donald Trump.
There was an angle going back.
It's not. It's not the fact that.
There was an angle that Republicans were talking about.
You're making it seem like it's all about Donald Trump, and it's not.
There was an angle going around with a lot of Republicans and a lot of Republican voters was that if we got him elected as a representative, he would be elected Speaker of the House. And then as Speaker of the House, when Biden and Harris were removed and no longer there, he would become acting president. Or what would happen is that the Speaker of the House would become acting president. They would appoint Donald Trump vice president and then resign so they could go back to being Speaker of the House and Trump president.
And however that scenario plays out, it's not like Donald Trump is the sole organizer of this.
I understand.
So
that.
what? He's just part of the get back.
It isn't going to happen.
Okay.
And personally, like I said, I personally don't think it should happen. If Donald John Trump got himself elected Speaker of the House, and I miraculously got invited over to Mar-a-Lago to have dinner with him and do a Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Before we go on, I would say, don't you think, Mr. President, that the smarter move, if you became Speaker of the House, would be to stay Speaker of the House, because you've got more authority, more power, more good that you can do for America as Speaker of the House than you do as president. Because like I said, the president can only write an executive order, and it's good until the next president comes in and either keeps it going, removes it.
Dave, once again, you're missing the big picture,
No, I'm not
bro.
missing anything.
When he gets back in, it's more than just focusing on here. We have world issues we have to deal with. He has to talk to my man back over in North Korea. He has to get Putin back on the line. He has to do. There are other things that only Trump can do. And he has to be able to do everything at the same time, because everything is blowing up at the same time.
What you do,
you're focused on one lane. See, I'm looking at the broad picture of it all. When Donald Trump comes back, he's coming back to put the country back together. He's coming back to put our world organizations back together. It's not just
right. When Donald Trump comes back,
McCarthy can't do that. McCarthy can't do that.
That's not true. When the House removes Biden, and all the Democrats in the House agree that Biden needs to be removed, when it goes to the Senate, you know as well as I do, the Senate is going to do the same thing. Why? Because if they don't, they're all going to be, all of them in the House, the Democrats that were involved with it, are going to be dragged over to the House and put through all the committee investigations and hearings. Their careers will be ruined. So basically, if they want to stay in the Senate doing what they're doing now, they're all going to vote to remove Biden.
That's what I said.
Biden will be removed. And so it doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump being Speaker of the House. Eric McCarthy is the speaker that needs to put this in place in the House, to do the investigations and the hearings as Speaker of a Republican majority House. Then he needs to send it over to Chuck Schumer, the Senate majority.
Dave, you keep
No.
I'm going to go back to what you said. You said if you got invited to Mar-a-Lago, you would tell Trump to stay in Senate because he can do
I would
more.
tell him to stay in the House as Speaker.
Stay in the House.
Because
he can do more.
Yes.
He can't deal with world issues as Speaker of the House. He has to be president to deal with Putin. He has to be president to deal with Kim Jong-un. He has to be president to deal with these things. Oh man.
I personally, like I said, I think now, based on what the Democrats tried to do to Trump, and now
so as Speaker of the House, he can go deal with world affairs.
They have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt in my mind, and I may be the only one who thinks this, that the office of President of the United States doesn't need to be there anymore. Why? Because you go to a parliament system where the Speaker of the House, or the Speaker of the House, becomes Speaker of Parliament and becomes Prime Minister of the country. And don't tell me that it doesn't work. It works in Israel because the Speaker of the Knesset, which is the equivalent of Congress over there, becomes Prime Minister. The President of Israel doesn't.
Dave,
Queen of England.
Dave, why do people keep wanting our system? Why do people keep wanting us to adopt the system of other nations? We got to fix our system. Every nation has their own way of doing things.
Well, maybe there is no saying that our system of government is going to work any less if we have a prime minister, like a lot of other countries do, who is basically the speaker of their house of of government representing the people, and the president, if they have one, doesn't do anything.
Dave,
The president of
societies,
Israel doesn't do
Dave,
anything.
every society has lived by the way that they live ever since they've been in existence. And we as Americans, we have our own system. And
And
no
it's not
matter,
working.
that's when you fix it. That's when you fix it.
Well, the way I think it should be fixed is you eliminate the office of president and you have a parliament just like other countries do. The speaker of parliament becomes prime minister, and parliament representing the people makes the
let
vote.
me ask you a question, Dave. Let me ask you a question. You know how in other countries you're allowed to have more than 2-3 wives? And here in America, we have a problem with adultery. So would you suggest, being that we have a problem with adultery here, we should just adopt laws like other countries and let men? Oh, okay. Well, that's a different analogy. That's a different analogy of what you're saying.
There are other countries that don't have a president or have a figurehead president that doesn't do anything. They have a prime minister. They have a prime minister, which is the equivalent of the Speaker of the House, and the Speaker of the House. Okay, you know what? I'm tired of people telling me that it won't work, because there are free countries around the world that don't have a president. They have a prime minister, and it's worked for them for thousands of years. Thousands of years. They operate like a democracy, like the United States is supposed to be. And it's worked for thousands of years.
So what's wrong with just saying keep the American system, our system, and fix it?
Because obviously it isn't working. The Democrats.
Obviously, that's why I say fix it. See, Dave,
for 4 years,
Dave,
made it work for them.
Everything in life, Dave, that breaks, you gonna throw it away?
I'm not saying throw it away. I'm saying fix it. Make some changes.
No, you're not. You're not saying fix it. You're saying adopt another country's way of governing.
Make some changes, because right now what we do is, like, for 4 years, from 2016 to 2020, all the Democrats did in Congress was look for ways to remove the president. Now, in 2023, the Republicans in the House are going to spend the next 4 years looking for a way, 2 years, because that's all that's left, looking for a way to remove a Democrat president who's guilty of crimes. We have the proof. So then they should just remove him. If they remove him tomorrow, unless part of the crimes they convict him for that make him step down prove that they violated the law to win the 2020 election and remove Harris with him, nothing's going to happen, because Harris will become president for the remaining time of the Biden administration. And then the only way she'll be removed is either they do the same thing, prove all the crimes she did, and remove her, and have maybe 2 days that Speaker McCarthy becomes president before we all vote in November of 2023 for the 2024 presidential election. The system doesn't work. We got presidents.
We know that.
We got presidents who, for most of their term, have done nothing more than break the law, and we either try to prove that they broke the law and remove them and replace them with somebody that we hope isn't going to break the law, or we have another election.
I'm just gonna ask this question and I'm done.
Okay.
So, are you saying that if we adopt another system, we're not going to experience corruptness?
I don't know.
No. Wow.
Other countries, maybe in other countries they have.
No. See,
they have corruption.
You got to keep.
They don't have a president.
No. You got to keep it real, bruh. You mean to tell? It's only a yes or no answer on this. You mean to tell me if we adopt another system, there won't be no corruption?
I
Be
can't
careful
prove
how
that.
you answer it.
I'm not
There's
saying
no perfect
adopt
system.
another.
There's no perfect system.
I'm
There's
not saying
corruption.
adopt another system. I'm saying make changes to what evidently doesn't seem to work in our own system.
Well, you mentioned Parliament. That's a totally different system than what we're doing here.
They
See,
elect
you're
the
not.
Speaker of the House, and the
Dave,
Speaker
Dave,
becomes
Dave.
Prime
That's why,
Minister.
Dave, you have to listen to what you say, man. You really do. You just said you're not saying adopt another system, but you said Parliament, which is a totally another system. We have a three-system rule of government here, and
And it
it
doesn't
needs to stay
work.
that way. I know that's why we have to fix it. But going
Well, how
back
are
to what
you
you
going to
said,
fix it?
you're.
For
I
4
don't
years,
know. I
for
don't
4
know.
years,
I don't.
for 4 years, the Democrats tried to bring down President Trump.
We
And the
have to
only
start
reason
getting
they
people.
couldn't bring him
Maybe
down,
we can only pray that we get honest people in there. That's all. Well, and you know what? That's the same thing I say when you talk about adopting another
we
system, because
report
corruptness is
every
going to
day.
find its way there too.
We report every day of corrupt members of the system that we have, and they're never removed. Democrats that we know were guilty. Eric Swalwell should have been booted out of the House of Representatives the day they found out he was dating a Chinese.
And we know,
activist.
and we know this, and we
So
know this. But
why is he still there?
I watch them people argue, and the way they treated that woman in the parliament over in that one country. I'm watching the way they're doing this Italian person over there. So just because you adopt other systems, there's always going to be people in opposition to you, which is always going to bring corruptness. So we have to just, because we're not control in the first place. God's in control. This is the devil's play. This is the devil's playground.
We have people that we elected to represent us in government who stand up every day basically and look at us and go, I broke the law and you didn't do a damn thing about it.
That's right. That's right. You are definitely
how come
right.
Eric Swalwell wasn't removed as soon as it was proven that he was dating and involved with a Chinese national?
The same reason that we found 3 batches of certified classified information on the president, and he's still walking around the White House.
Why didn't we go after George Bush Jr. when we found out he was doing the same thing? Why didn't we go after Barack Obama when we found out he was doing the same thing? Why didn't we go after Joe Biden, who stood in front of the cameras and said, well, the Biden Center office, because it's locked and only a few people have the keys and only this person has keys to the file cabinet? It's more secure. It's more secure than Trump's Mar-a-Lago. We both know that that's a crap. Trump's Mar-a-Lago was made.
We've been asking ourselves these questions for a long time, brother.
Well, where I am is I'm at a point where we need to stop asking ourselves these questions and do the actions that we need to do. And once we do the actions that we need to do, then we need to sit down and decide what the President of the United States is allowed to do and not do, what the President of the United States has to go to Congress to ask be done, what the House has to go to the Senate and get them to agree on what needs to be done. Then the President either signs it into law or the President vetoes it, and the House and the Senate decide whether or not they're going to override that veto.
Right.
That's that system we have. That system stays the same whether or not the Speaker of the House becomes called Prime Minister. Because if the House sends something to the Senate and it's something that the American people want, then as Speaker of the House, the people's government, he or she should be able to put that into law because that's what the people asked for. The Senate is supposed to work with the president, represent the people before the president. The House represents the people and does what the people want wants done. The checks and balances are the House goes over to the Senate and says, this is what the people want us to do. This is what we're going to do. If you agree with this, then you vote and go, and then it goes upstairs to the president. That's the three system that we have. The three system checks and balances that we have doesn't work either because nobody does the checking and the balancing, or it's all corrupt. And it's been all corrupt for the 240 something years that this country has been around. Actually, it hasn't been the whole thing. It's whenever we allowed our government to be corrupted. George Washington didn't have any desire to create a government for the people, by the people, that would run the United States of America, and that eventually would become a banking corporation by people who didn't have any care for what the people wanted. That system the system that we're in is broken. One of the obvious ways to fix it is a convention of states, but too many people say, well, that's not going to work. Of course it's not going to work. Just like term limits aren't going to work. You can't ask anybody who is in the House or the Senate right now whether or not they just got elected for the first time to vote on term limits. Why? Because if whatever term limit they vote to, if they've already exceeded it, that means they got to step down and leave. So we're going to end up replacing half the government, we're going to end up replacing most of the Congress and most of the Senate anyway. That's why term limits will never pass. The Convention of States to 1776 2.0, the reason that it won't work is that most of the people that we sent to Congress, the House and the Senate, don't want us to jumpstart and go back to the Constitution of the Republics of the United States, because they will lose their job. They will lose all of that income that they make in that job. George Washington did not want people to become elected and that to become the only job that you ever had, because you get paid money and all of the extra money under the table and everything. He didn't want that, because he knew when that happened that the people no longer had control of the government. And B. Dice, good morning. You say the garage was not guarded. I can probably agree with you. Although the only video that I've seen of the garage is the United Spot, who does all the parodies, shows Biden's Corvette being driven away from the garage where it is, and it looks like it's a police station. And if that's true, and it's in a garage in a police station, it may not be protected any more than if it was where it was supposed to be. But again, no one seems to care really with how it was guarded. The point is that Joe Biden, as vice president, decided himself that he was going to guard it for whatever reason he was going to guard it. And as soon as they found that out, he should have been ushered out of the White House or wherever he's operating the president and put into custody and held until he was tried in the House and the Senate and removed, and then turned over to the Department of Justice to take whatever action they're supposed to do. And it's not going to happen. As far as Epstein's list be, I personally don't believe that Epstein's list was ever going to be made public, because a lot of powerful people in a lot of powerful countries and in a lot of powerful businesses that have a lot of money and are probably donors to those people in government, it's never going to happen. And whether or not Epstein did in fact commit suicide in his cell, or whether or not Epstein is still alive somewhere and being pumped for information or giving all of that information, nobody seems to know. So I don't really know what to tell you. Our own military is allowing our country to fall when they're supposed to protect us from crooks in office. That's a comment from B. Dice. And that seems to back up. Nobody's doing what they need to do. And that goes back to the statement I made a few minutes ago. We got a 3-system government, 3 branches of government that are supposed to watch over and check each other, and nobody's doing their job. We got a president who's supposed to be watching over the House and Senate, and he doesn't. And we've got and the Justice Department, through his attorney general, we've got a Speaker of the House who's the head of the House, who's supposed to be watching over the House, watching over the Senate, watching over the Department of Justice, and watching over the president. And they don't. We got people there now saying we're going to do it because we're Republicans and we take that very seriously. But the question I got is anybody going to do it? And I'm sorry that I get wired and high-strung on these broadcasts when we have this conversation, but it's like you can't come on to a Boogie with the Bull broadcast and tell me everything that you want and then turn around and tell me that it isn't going to work. Because the point of Boogie with the Bull broadcast is I want to bring people on who are going to suggest something that might work, and then go one-on-one with people in a live chat, other people on the broadcast who are going to say it's not going to work. Because I personally think that the bulk of Americans, Democrats, Republicans, American neo-Nazis, whatever party you are, understand that if Donald John Trump was to become Speaker of the House and then be able to push himself from Speaker of the House back into the presidency, it's going to become clear to most of America that that is one avenue that he looked at that would get himself brought back in. Why? Because maybe it will never be agreed upon between the House and the Senate that Mr. Biden was not elected president. And if Mr. Biden was not elected president, then him and Harris go, and Speaker of the House Trump, as acting president, becomes president. Okay, it's a wonderful conspiracy theory, but really the wrong way to go. I personally think if he wants to be president again, then he stays out of the House completely. Representative Trump, Speaker of the House Trump, he stays out of the House. And he continues to run for the Republican nomination, and he runs in 2024, and he wins. And he wins based on the fact that from 2016 to 2020, he did his best to do what the people wanted, turn the country around in a lot of ways. And then when the Democrats took over in 2020, they are going in a complete opposite direction. We have a Republican House majority right now. That means we have the majority of the House, and in the House, they should be able to start doing things to turn around what the Democrats have done. Are they going to do it? Probably not. Because anything they do that can turn the country around in the 2 years that we have the majority will be reversed in 2024 when the Democrats take back the House, keep the Senate, and also elect a Democrat president. So if you tell me that our system is working, yeah, it's working. It's just another game of one-upsmanship. The Republicans take the House. They got 2 years to change it. The Democrats take it back in 2 years, and they keep a Democrat Senate, and they elect a Democrat president, and they whomp us all for another 2 years until they lose the Democrat House in 2 years. That system isn't working. It hasn't worked for a while as far as president goes. That's why I have said I believe party politics should be removed from the president of the United States. You don't get you don't get nominated as a Democrat. You don't get nominated as a Republican. You don't run as a Democrat. You don't run as a whatever. You run based on you believe you're the best person to be the president of the United States. the Chief Executive Officer of the United States of America, the Republics of the United States of America. It is your job to make sure we run just like any other public corporation. Because in theory, that's what our government is right now. Okay? It's a corporation that is only concerned with making money through taxes to continue to operate itself. And we obviously don't have a balanced budget amendment in this country. The president has a red line. He can cross things out that he doesn't think should be there, but then it has to go back to the House to be approved, and then it has to go to the Senate to be approved, and then it has to go to the president, and he probably redlines a whole bunch of other things. We don't do what we need to do. Our system of government doesn't work. We don't have a federal government. We have a federal monarchy. Okay? And I will continue telling people watching Boogie with the Bull broadcast that, you know what? We need to fix our country, and how we fix our country is you can't have a Democrat attorney general running a predominantly Democrat Department of Justice who is dealing out justice their way and not equally on Americans. It favors people who came into this country, I'm believing to say illegally, were allowed to be here illegally, were treated better than Americans who are here legally. And, you know, it's happening. It's been happening since Biden became president 3 years ago. And it's going to keep happening for another year until he's either voted out. The first thing we need to do with a Republican majority House is find every penny in the federal government that was pledged toward building a border wall. Build that border wall. The 87,000 men and women who are now carrying guns and are going to knock on your door from the IRS, try to get every single penny you owe them and make sure they get every penny that you have promised to pay them. Those men and women should be put through the Department of Homeland Security training programs to become Border Patrol agents. Okay? And then work doing other DHS responsibilities to make sure America is America and America is here for Americans. That's all I can tell you. Okay? And I'm sorry that I got angry on this Boogie with the Bull. I'm sorry that William's camera and microphone may have froze, but I am going to read this because we are live.
I'm here listening to you.
We are live here on Facebook, and we're live here on YouTube. And YouTube and Facebook are two of the worst social media networks in the United States, because if you don't speak their views, then you constantly get in trouble. And I've been constantly in trouble. I joined Facebook in 2009. I've been constantly in trouble since 2016. And I'm tired.
Can you still see me on your screen?
I see you on my screen.
Oh, okay.
It looked like you froze. It looked like.
No, I'm looking at some messages. That's all.
So before I turn the mic back over to Mr. Rayfield, I'm going to read this. This broadcast is actual and factual. That's a quote from Mr. Rayfield. The views expressed are those of the speakers and the viewers in the live chats where live chat is available. The No Budget Broadcasting Company, a.k.a. Boogie with the Bull, is the copyright owner of Boogie with the Bull broadcasts. Equal time to responsible parties with opposing views will be given. All you have to do is message me and let me know that you want to come on to a broadcast. And if I can get the link to you and you can get on the broadcast, you are more than welcome to do it. And I'm assuming Randy Rhodes had to. Randy Rhodes had to.
I am one of those people. I'm always up for a good debate. It's very hard to get me to shut my screen down. I mean, we all got stuff to talk about.
Randy Rhodes is always busy with his genealogy business, which is doing fantastically well. So I understand and appreciate that he may have to cut out from time to time on a broadcast or can't be on a Boogie with the Bull. For those of you who know, Randy does genealogy. He has the All Roads, RHODES, like his last name, All Roads Lead to Home Facebook page. Go to the page, sniff around, for lack of a better word, what he does with genealogy. And if you are interested in his services, message him and tell him that you are interested. The actual and factual, which I'm going to have to start paying Mr. Rayfield royalties for using it. The actual and factual is that if you want genealogy services, you should be talking to Randy Rhodes. And let's see, we got about 15 minutes before I'm going to wrap this one up, because 2 hours is long. Really the limit as to how long I want to keep people involved. If you did not see the broadcast live, I hope that you get to watch it on a podcast. If you did, you can comment on the podcast just like you were watching it. I do get notified of your comments. I do try to go back and read them, and if necessary, I will bring up somebody's comments from a previous broadcast, or like I said, tell me you want to come on to the broadcast and speak for yourself. You don't have to be a Facebook broadcaster. You can just be a person who enjoys using social media and wants the opportunity to represent yourself. B-Dice is running and B-Dice is winning. And B-Dice is the purveyor of Bees Buzz Edition. And Bees Buzz Edition is, in fact, getting paid by Facebook for the posting of Bees Buzz Edition group. I believe it's a subscription group. If you want to see it, you have to pay a subscription in order to do it. And I'm sorry that Mr. Rayfield left. Look for the Patriots Lab broadcast, which might come on immediately. As far as I know, the schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 12 noon Eastern. But that interrupts what I was saying. B-Dice, Bees Buzz Edition group. If you can see it and you have to subscribe to it, it is definitely worth looking into. It's sort of like a Facebook within a Facebook, or what Facebook calls a Facebook community. And B does have a store. I don't know what he calls it, but they do T-shirts, they do banners. You will see displays of his store and banners and T-shirts and hats that he has done. If you need a T-shirt, banner, or a hat created, by all means contact B, and I'm sure he will help you out. And from time to time, when B is available, we will get him on a broadcast. He also operates B's Lawn Service, the best lawn service available in southwestern Pennsylvania. Go to Yelp, find southwestern Pennsylvania, put in B's Lawn Service, and it will give you the contact information. And I believe they also do mobile power washing. So anything that a mobile power washer can wash within reason, if you contact B, they will bring it to you, and they will do that. They also do leaf removal and a whole bunch of other things. If you are an American-owned business and you watch Boogie with the Bull broadcast, you can be in our American-owned business, because our economy works when American business works, because American business is the backbone of our economy. One more time, the last time. Our economy works when American business works, because American business is the backbone of our economy. Copyright No Budget Broadcasting Company, a.k.a. Boogie with the Bull, a.k.a. Dave Glover. So there. What you do is message me and give me the name of your business, the web address, website, if you have one, the phone number, and the address of your brick and mortar location, if you have one. And tell me in a few words who you are, what you do, how you do it, and when and where you do it. And I will whip something together. And hopefully to give is that if you are watching Boogie with the Bull at your business, you might not have wanted to be watching today, but if you're watching Boogie with the Bull broadcasts and or your customers hear you mentioned on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, or other people hear you mentioned on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast, maybe they will bring their friends to your business, or maybe they will tell you not to be on Boogie with the Bull broadcasts anymore. But a quick look at the live chat. Danny Campbell, who's watched more than anybody else, was watching, but Danny may not have watched the whole thing today. My apologies if that happened. Felly Tent, who has watched several times William Rayfield, had to move along, and that happens a lot, and I'm sorry for that happening, Mr. Rayfield. And Devlin Kangas is watching, and B. Dice is watching. If you are watching and you share the broadcast on Facebook, that would be greatly appreciated. If you are watching and you want to share the broadcast off of Facebook, I suggest you go to YouTube and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, or you go to Twitch, the Boogie with the Bull Twitch channel, or you go to Twitter and find it on the @BoogieWTBull account, or wherever Twitter broadcasts actually land on Twitter. I know that they land in a specific spot on Twitter, and people who are on Twitter will share Boogie with the Bull broadcasts whenever they can. So that's the best I can tell you there. But one more time, the last time, and then we're probably going to move along for today because we're coming up on 2 hours. This broadcast is actual and factual. The views expressed. I'm actually going to put it on the screen so I can read it while I tell it to you. I'm going to flash it. Actually, you can read it on the screen in the Boogie with the Bull page and on the and every place else. We are live this morning. We may not be live on the Dave Wilson profile. I'll find out very shortly. The broadcast is actual and factual. The views expressed are those of the speakers and the viewers in the live chats, where live chats are available. The No Budget Broadcasting Company, a.k.a. Boogie with the Bull, is the copyright owner of Boogie with the Bull broadcast. And if we say it, we meant it. And if we're wrong, we apologize for being wrong. And if you're wrong on YouTube and on Facebook, that could lead to your broadcast not being on YouTube and Facebook, which is why we're on Twitch and we are on Twitter, and we will expand. And everybody's looking at Rumble. We might look at Rumble, and otherwise, we're just here until Facebook decides that we can't be here, or YouTube decides that we can't be here, and then we'll find someplace else to be. If you want us to be someplace else, message me and tell me where it is, or type it into the live chat where the live chats are available, and we will do our best. Anyway, so from the Boogie Dome here in beautiful Fleming Island, Florida, I'm going to say, go out there and make it a fantastic day. Do something else besides sitting in your room all day long and watching Facebook, looking for a broadcast or looking to do a broadcast. I think I'm going to get up and get out and go watch my grandson's karate class today. And I haven't done it in a while. And maybe go out and play with dogs outside for a while. I'm going to feed these dogs because they haven't eaten, and it is coming up on 12 noon, and they should have eaten. It should have been fed before the broadcast. So anyway, go out there and make it a fantastic weekend. Look into your notifications or in your Facebook news feed for the next Boogie with the Bull broadcast. Don't have one over the weekend. I always say that, but if something comes up, then you never know, there might be one. So the next one will be at maybe at 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday, January 16th. It's my 61st birthday, so I don't know if it will be at 10 a.m. or maybe delayed to a later time and date. But that's the actual and factual. That's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. And if you don't like it, come on a broadcast and correct me. And in 2 years of asking people to do that, No one has. And I think there's been a couple of times where I have actually corrected myself. It is Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed Friday. That goes to the men and women of the United States military, both here in the United States and around the world, protecting the freedom of others and the United States. And we just take a moment or two to think about them and the commitment that they have made and made while they were here on Earth. Some are not with us any longer. I believe that if we send our men and women around the world and they come back broken, it's our responsibility to make sure they get fixed, or as best they can be fixed when they are back. And or we should make sure their families are at the same supported for the heroic efforts of their family members. That's just the way it is. I don't believe that we should be letting anybody who can hop, skip, jump, swim, walk, or get into the United States of America illegally come in and be treated better than the men, women, and children who are Americans and go to town every day to make sure we stay the best country in the world. So that's about all I have to say on that. And I apologize that Randy Rhodes had to depart, but go to the All Roads Lead to Home, RHODES, All Roads Lead to Home Facebook page. Take a look around, see the genealogy services that Randy Rhodes does provide, and probably at the lower cost than you will find from anybody else on social media. And in as little as 15 minutes, Randy can help you find some good genealogy nuggets that might make you want to dig deeper into your family history. And he does the All Roads Lead to Home broadcasts, where he will, if you want to, he'll take what he found on you and your family and share on a broadcast with millions of other people on Facebook who might have similar interest. So keep that in mind. And that's about it. An hour and 57 minutes that I hope did both entertain and inform you in some ways. And if it didn't, then like I said, let me know. Message me why. And to those who are no longer watching Boogie with the Bull broadcast, you won't hear this, but to those of you who are no longer watching Boogie with the Bull broadcast because of affiliations that I have with people related to Boogie with the Bull broadcast, all I can say is, I can't afford solely to do Boogie with the Bull. I can't. I'm on a fixed income. I don't want to ask for donations, but everybody knows what it takes. Someone has to pay the StreamYard bill. Someone has to pay the Rumble bill. If you add Rumble, someone has to pay the Twitter bill. If you go blue check verified content creator on Twitter, someone has to pay that bill. And as long as Facebook lets us stay here and do it, you don't have to pay for Facebook. You don't have to pay for YouTube, as long as they let us stay there. And what I'm telling people lately is that if you find yourselves being censored on Facebook and on YouTube, then you might want to look at Rumble. I hope in the very near future you'll be able to look at StreetLock and StreetLock Live channels, which are going to be a YouTube channel on steroids without the censorship from Facebook and or YouTube. But I hope in the very near future you'll be able to see that, and if that works for you, then let you know. Boogie with the Bull stands behind the commitment. This will be the last thing that I'm going to say, that we're going to pay it forward and provide StreamYard live producing as we can, and hope to bring in new broadcasters that want to do their own thing their own way wherever they can do it. We will help give you destination access to everywhere that we can. And then if you decide that you want to do your own thing, we suggest that you pick up the $25 a month plan from StreamYard like we have, and go off and live offer with yours. Anyway, I'm going to end this Boogie with the Bull broadcast right now. And, see you